Here's a segment from a recent Gun Talk radio episode. You can listen to all the Gun Talk radio podcasts however you tune in, or check out guntalk.com for more. I've been thinking about this. I think we have a new crop of people getting into reloading. We have a new bunch of people who have discovered reloading. And it may be several factors, but two that I think really are critical in this growth of interest in making your own ammunition. One is that ammunition has gotten expensive, especially rifle ammo, but all ammo has just gotten expensive. And depending on what components you're using and everything else, you can save something on the order of 40 to 50% when you reload your own ammo. The other thing that I think may be driving some of this is a very real, and whether it's renewed or increased, I don't know which, interest in accurate rifle shooting. You go way back, it was bench rest shooting, and now it's long-range shooting, but people are figuring out, okay, the only way I'm going to really get my rifle to shoot super accurate is to load my own ammo. And now you got thousands and thousands and thousands of people doing that as well. Well, it's put a lot of pressure on those who make components, the things you need to make your own ammo, to come up with and continue producing and supplying all of that. And yet at the same time, they're doing that, and they're also introducing new products. So talking about that, let's bring in a friend of ours, Chris Hodgdon from the Hodgdon Powder Company. Chris, welcome.
Hi, Tom.
What do you think? What do you think of my analysis of what's going on with reloading?
That's very true. Not only is the cost factor, but, we all know that hand loading is really a pride of ownership. It's about developing that particular round for your particular rifle or pistol. But it's from start to finish. You're experimenting with a lot of different bullets, a lot of different powders, primers, etc. And you go out and you're at the range and you might see your group that's really not a very good group, and then you try a different bullet, a different powder charge, and then magically it appears, and it's like
yeah.
It makes you smile.
Well, it's like the clouds part and the angels sing, and you go, "Wow, there it is! I knew I could do it."
Yes, perfect.
There's also something else at work. I hadn't thought about this in a while, and I would just say, by and large, across the board, hand loaders are better shots. Period, because they shoot more.
Right, that's very true. It extends your sport. It's such a passion for me and other hand loaders just to see it happen, and also when you're out big game hunting or whatever, or varmints, just to see it happen before your eyes, and you spend a lot of time in getting those loads worked up, and to see it happen right there is magical. It truly is.
It is. You say, I built that round of ammunition that I just got that elk with. It just adds to the experience immeasurably.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you might just give a little background. I always ask people, how'd you get into this business? But I think I know in your case.
Well, I had some good mentors, including my granddad and my dad and my uncle, who founded Hodgdon and built it to where it is today. And now we're into our fifth generation, which is unbelievable.
Wow.
75 years this year. So we are so very blessed. We had our very best year ever. Thank the good Lord that everyone returned home to their families safely. And that's really all that matters the most. And we had a nice gathering in Kansas City for our industry friends and our customers. And then earlier this year, we had a gathering with our employees and team members. So all three locations. So we are very happy to have been in the business now for 75 years. And there's only 1% or less of all companies make it to 75 years.
Wow. Didn't know that.
Yes.
Well, then I'm going to be the heavy here. I'll be the bad guy, which is ask you the question that you hear simply every day. So where are the powders?
Well, that's a good question. We like everything else in the industry are driven by demand, and we are trying to get as much inventory and get it out there on the market. It's just unfortunately our vendors are at capacity, and every single powder plant in the world is at capacity, and they're most of the focus now is on the military. Uh-huh. And so, of course, the militaries are taking a major share of it, and the consumer market suffers from that. And so that's really where it's at. And we've had really extreme challenges with transportation and the cost of raw goods going up. Mm-hmm. So it's been a really tough year for that part of it. Our management team, Steve Kerwald, our president and CEO, has done a magic job in getting all this done for this year. And we've shipped more powder this year than we ever have in our company's history. Huh. And so we're starting to see a little more out there on the shelves. Just like ammunition also is starting to appear pretty right. regularly, in some cartridges, But yes, some of our more popular powders we're still struggling to get out there on the marketplace. But we think probably by first quarter of next year we'll have the shelves pretty well filled up.
Oh, that's great. One of the things that people may not be aware of, and when I talk to ammo makers, it's the same thing, is that when you get a military contract, whether it's for ammunition or for powder, part of the military contract is our orders come first. Period.
Yes. Correct.
So it's like, okay, yeah, I know we could sell 1 million, individual canisters of 4350, but the military wants 50,000 tons or whatever it happens to be of powder, and we have to ship that to them first, and the consumers are simply going to have to wait. And that doesn't matter if you're making the powder in the U.S., or I know you get powder from Australia and other countries, and everybody's facing the same thing.
Yes, that's absolutely correct. And also aligning all the stars up with the raw materials. Nitrocellulose has been extremely under demand, and so everything has to be just right to make sure that we are able to ship the product out to our favorite gun stores.
At some time back, you started putting one out every year. Are things changing and happening that fast? We need annual loading manuals now?
Yes. We're on our 20th annual manual for 2023, and there is constant change, obviously, in components, and particularly, and then we added two new powders this year. But on the annual manual side, we have 9 new articles. Of course, we always have our powder descriptions, burn rate chart, but we have 66 rifle cartridges in the manual this year, 27 pistol, and we've added back into the manual after years and years 12-gauge shot shells. So we do have that all updated, and we have the 22 GT, the 7mm PRC, and the Federal 30 Super Carry new data in this manual. So there is 55 rifle updates, rifle and pistol cartridges updates. So it is well worth it. And you can find it. You can find it anywhere, Tom. You can find it out there on nearly any newsstand and grocery store and Walmart. So it's out there right now.
Yeah. For those who don't know, it looks like a magazine. It's that format, so they can fit on newsstands easily. You don't have to go to a bookstore or a gun store. It's like everywhere. So yeah, you can grab that. All right. So now you got all these powders. You've got all these different lines of powders. And yet you're bringing out new powders. What's new and why? Who's it for?
So we do have 2 new Winchester powders. The StaBall 6.5 was an absolute home run hit. It's similar to 4350 in burn speed, so that it was very popular with many cartridges in that burn speed. So StaBall is what it is. It's a ball-type powder, and it's made in the USA. What it does is it reduces the copper fouling in your barrel, and it is also temperature stable, which is insensitive to hot and cold temperatures, much like our Hodgdon extruded powders like Varget and H4350, etc.
Hey, Chris, let me explain why that's important. If you go out and work up your loads in Arizona or Louisiana or someplace in the summer, and it's 90 or 100 degrees, you got everything just dialed in perfectly. Then you go on your elk hunt, and it's 12 degrees or minus 12 degrees. Right. You could lose, with some of the older powders that are not temperature stable, you could lose 100, 150 feet per second. And that may not matter at 100 to 300 yards, but if you're out there shooting 500, 600 yards, that could be a serious change in point of impact.
Yes, it is, and especially for those precision target shooters that were using the old style powders, you're not going to be competitive. So we do have a new alternative. We have two new ones.
All right.
And drum roll, please. So on the first one, it's called StaBall HD. And so what this one is, it's a very slow burner. And we have had a tremendous number of high-power shooters, long-range shooters that absolutely love Rotumbo. And unfortunately, Rotumbo is very hard to get. And so what we decided to come out with this StaBall HD in the same burn speed as Rotumbo. And it's very uniform. Of course, with the ball-type powder, it's going to meter through your loader like beautiful. And it's primarily, it's going to work in the same cartridges as Rotumbo, like in the 6.5 PRC, the 7 Mag, the 300 PRC, the 270 WSM, 6.8 Western, and those, overbore cartridges.
Right. Sounds great. I mean, and for those who don't know, if you've never used a ball powder, they flow through your meter, your powder measure, like water. And those of us who are used to using big stick powders, it's just a thing of beauty. It just makes loading a pleasure. Yeah.
And so that one is going to be well received. And then the next one, the other brand new one, is called StaBall Match. And it is the same. It's temp stable, and it is close to Varget speed. So Varget has been our most successful powder ever in Hodgdon history. And this is just a ball-type powder equivalent, nearly the same in burn speed.
223?
So, yep, 223 is 708, the 3006, 22250, 308 Win, 4570. All those cartridges, anything that you're using Varget in, it's going to be virtually as good or better with StaBall Match.
All right, so here's the question. Obviously, Rotumbo is pretty much gone, hard to find. Varget can be hard to find. What's going to be the availability of these two new StaBall powders?
Well, we are officially kicking it off at the SHOT Show next month, but we have it in inventory. We have it ready to go. As soon as we do our launch at the SHOT Show, we are going to start shipping in first quarter. So in springtime, you ought to be able to find any of these powders pretty readily available. We are just going to flood the market as quickly as we can.
And because they're made in America, you're not having to worry about other countries or production or shipping and all that.
That's true.
Do these come out of Florida?
Yes, they do.
Okay, figured that was where they're coming from.
Yep.
Well, that's fantastic. I mean, copper reducing, temperature stable, easy flow, and the main thing is available, which is the big deal.
Yes. We are very excited about it. Just look for it at your local gun store. We also, if you're looking for it and you can't find it in your gun store, we'll have it online too at our Hodgdon.com website.
Oh, speaking of that, when I went to your website, the first thing that popped up was a fraud alert. There are websites impersonating your website where they will take orders for powder, but they'll only take them through like Venmo or PayPal or something like that. And I always tell people those are popping up everywhere. If they won't take a credit card, run away.
Yes, absolutely, because we have really done a thorough job in trying to find those imposters out there, and it's a concern, and we have found some of those fraudsters, and we've sent the government on them, and with the shipping of hazardous materials, you have to have special licenses, of course, and so they get in trouble pretty quick.
I bet so. But yeah, and we're seeing that. I mean, everywhere we're seeing sites pop up. Oh, we've got the ammo you want, the ammo you can't find anywhere else. You're going, really? You guys have got like primers that are cheap? And going, yeah. First of all, that's a warning. But then when they say, well, we'll only take Zelle or Venmo or something, you're going, yeah, no, run away. That's just not right.
That's a pretty good clue there.
It really is. Well, Chris, Thank you for your time, and congratulations on 75 years of a great family-owned company. And thank you for bringing out new powders because, man, we're all hungry for them.
Well, thank you, Tom. We're hoping to fill some voids here, so we're very excited about 2023.
Sounds good. I'll see you in Vegas in just about a month. Yes,
looking forward to it. Absolutely.
All right, you take care. Chris Hodgdon from Hodgdon Powder Company, Hodgdon.com or HodgdonReloading.com. Talk for a second about reloading. I mean, you got to be careful when you get into reloading. Not because it's dangerous, but because it's dangerous to your wallet. People say, well, what do you mean? You're saving money. Yeah, I know you're supposed to. And you are saving money with each round. But it can easily become addictive. And now we're loading different bullets. We're trying different powders. We're trying different brass. We're trying different seating depths. And, I got to have more components. And it's like, before you know it, you're going, holy cow, look at all this stuff. Yeah. It becomes an endeavor in and of itself. It becomes its own hobby. And that's a really good thing because now you've got another thing that you are passionate about. But more than that, as I said, reloaders are always better shots. Just are. By virtue of knowing more about their guns and tuning things up and spending a lot of time at the range getting things right and just, pull the trigger a lot. There's really no substitute for trigger time, getting out there and shooting a lot. And if you're trying to develop, and it doesn't really matter, rifle, pistol, shotgun loads, you're shooting more. With shotgun, you can probably save in the realm of 40 to 50% over factory ammo. Now, not comparing it to the cheapest loads out there, but good quality shotgun loads. Metallics, that would be pistol and rifle. Again, probably saving somewhere in the order of 40 to 50%. Again, not over the cheapest discount 9mm, because some of that stuff is pretty darn cheap right now, 28 to 30 cents a round, sometimes even less than that for 9. But, if you're shooting a lot, you can save a lot. And if you're doing your own development of your loads, which is kind of where I come in, I'm tweaking 270s and 280s and different rifle cartridges. It's just fun to be able to do different bullets. And frankly, you can do things that you can't do with factory ammo because nobody's making that kind of variety of factory ammo.